What good folks, it's Darktree19 and welcome back to another What If Naruto Was Soldier Part 6. So like, comment, subscribe and share, but besides all that, enjoy the video. Chapter 13. The truth comes out. Naruto awoke to find himself looking at the familiar sight of various female bodies all clinging if not surrounding him on his bed, each one being half naked, but none of the girls in question seemed to care, and if the Namikaze was honest with himself, he didn't either. He wasn't a pervert, mind you, despite all of Jiraiya attempts, all resulting in painful failure. But Naruto had learned long ago that one's appearance doesn't matter when in the thick of a battle with people trying to kill you with swords, guns, spells, and anything else being thrown at you in the means to end your life. Plus, the girls themselves didn't seem to mind seeing him half naked, so why should he be any different, and cover himself up from their sight? The closest one to his face on the left side of him was Haku, as she had her head resting on his chest, breathing in his scent, and would on several occasions kiss his chest in an affectionate manner. To his right was Niyugito, who had taken up the other side of his body, but was taller than him, of course due to the greater age difference than he had with Haku, and her chest was in his face more than her own. She would on occasion snuggle her head deeply into his hair, purring into it, and mumbling things he didn't understand. Something about giving her a litter of kittens one day or something. Or was that two-tailed Nibi talking through her? Lower down Naruto's body, with their arms wrapped around his waist, were the forms of Tsuchi-kin and Kayaponi Atuya snuggling against his abs. The two girls sleeping along this part of his body had grown quite fond of him since he took them in, vouching for them since without it, the people in the village would despise them, and hate them for being former enemies of the leaf. The same could be said for Niyugito, as she had gotten quite a few glares after word got out that she was a demon vessel, and again it was only through Naruto vouching for her that the glares were as far as it went, with them being in the minority. In fact, Naruto had made it known that any hate towards the girls living with him would not be tolerated, and proved it when he overheard a jounin saying they would like to put Tuya in her place by making her as cum dump like the sound slut she is before the Namikaze was upon him. Needless to say, the jounin was now retiring at the hospital with all four limbs missing, shattered beyond repair, and was in a coma with a feeding tube down his throat. It would have been more merciful to simply kill the man, but after what the jounin said, Naruto wasn't really in the mood to give him mercy, and long after it had happened. As for Naruto's mother in all of this, Kushina was spending more time with her son, and learning what it was he had learned over the years. After a few more weeks of resting, healing, and intense physical therapy, with Tsunade coming over with Shizune, the red-haired woman was able to pick up a sword to continue being the shinobi she was years ago. Like her son, she preferred the Nadachi to use when it came to weapons, and found her trusty blade that was tucked away in the weapons scroll with the whirlpool symbol on it. When asked by her son if she named her sword, Kushina smirked at her baby boy, and told Naruto her name was Benihime. It was then Naruto suggested the Muramasa and Benihime should get better acquainted with each other, the art of swordplay. Kushina agreed, with the two of them going out back to spar and the girls watching with anticipation, with Tenten, having somehow heard that the two would be sparring, coming over to see it. And what a sight to see it was, as mother fought against son, and the two blades clashed against the other with sparks flying around them. Kushina may have been in that tank for well over a decade, but her mind was still sharp, and remembered how to wield her sword like she had done it only yesterday. However, Naruto was indeed the victor of their spar after nearly an hour of it, and even then the boy was holding back on his mother since her physical strength was not yet up to part with what she was years before. It would take some time, but nothing that a little intense physical training couldn't cure, and this would also be beneficial for Tenten too, since she could learn from the red-headed Uzumaki when she wasn't being taught by Naruto. In fact, Tenten had first gotten into the art of using weapons as a child because of Kushina, and then started iodizing Tsunade as she got older due to the older woman's reputation of incredible strength. Of course that was a teacher-student matter, but when it came to Kushina being a mother, and a protective one at that, well, let's just say she had no problem embarrassing the girls that had fallen for her son. While Naruto was perfectly capable of handling himself when around the women in his life, as well as being the man of the house, something that had stupefied every male member of the Nara clan, Kushina decided that she needed to set up some ground rules for the girls, and cover her son's rear flank when it came to the various females within the leaf. The first among the ground rules was, obviously, no sex that got any of the girls pregnant until they were married to Naruto. Kushina wasn't ready to be a grandmother just yet, even if the idea had popped in her head when seeing her son with them, and in his bed sleeping. As for the rule itself, the redhead could see that the girls were upset about that rule, even if they knew it was coming, and reluctantly agreed to it, though Nibi did let out a few curses that the red-haired woman couldn't hear. Second rule was, as long as the girls live under the roof of the Namikaze clan, they must train hard to get stronger for Naruto. Kushina wanted to make sure each girl wasn't some sissy fangirl shinobi wannabe that only wanted Naruto for the prestige the clan name held. The third and final ground rule was to not interfere with Naruto choosing a girl to join the harem that he needs to restore his clan unless they have proof the girl is only after him for his money or clan status like so many fangirls do. Then they could tell Naruto before kicking the girl to the curb. So far, the girls in his life, whether they slept in his bed or not, had followed these rules since they were put down. Though it didn't stop Kushina from doing what she called prevent son from being molested by women patrol by looking into his room every so often in the morning to make sure the girls on his bed still had what little clothing they had on and their hands did not remove her son's own articles of clothing. Which brought Naruto back to the beginning of him awakening to this common sight of these girls sleeping on top and around his person. The young Namikaze blonde knew it was impossible to get out of this delicate, as well as intricate combination lock of female flesh pressed against him, and sensed his mother was downstairs in the kitchen cooking them all breakfast while humming a tune to herself. "Naruto-kun," said Haku, as she was mumbling in her sleep, and Naruto could feel the warmth her body created slowly growing. Perhaps I should look into making my own version of that shadow clone jutsu, thought Naruto, as he saw the girls clinging to him, and preventing him from escaping. "Konoha Hospital sometime later, damn that kid knows how to hurt someone," said Cloud, as he was getting dressed to be cleared from the hospital after his time recovering from his injuries, and winced slightly when he got off the bed. "What did you expect, Cloud? That Naruto would simply let you kill him?" said Tifa, as she came in earlier, and saw him lying in bed before the doctors came and giving him a clean bill of health. "I would be lying if I said yes to that question," said Cloud, as he picked up his fusion sword, and strapped it to his back before he left the room with Tifa. "Well, I warned you about fighting him, and this is what you get for not listening," said Tifa, in a "I told you so" voice, and Cloud rolled his eyes. "Just because you were right this time, Tifa, does not mean you will always be right," said Cloud, as he saw Tifa shoot her tongue out at him in a playful manner, and they both stopped when Uchiha Sasuke appeared in front of him. "You're the one Naruto defeated in the stadium," said Sasuke with Tifa letting out a giggle, and Cloud once more rolled his eyes while letting out a groan. "So I keep hearing. What do you want, kid?" said Cloud, as he had to report to the village leader here with the big breasts and bigger punching power to join the leaf. "Train me," said Sasuke, as he saw Cloud raise an eyebrow, and Tifa doing the same. "Train you? Like you train you to be my pet or something? Is that even legal here?" said Cloud, as he Tifa face faulted, and Sasuke was seething in rage. "No, you moron. He means training him to be like you," yelled Tifa, as she couldn't believe Cloud thought that, and punched him for it. "For once, there is a woman in this world, who isn't a baka, and not a bad looker either," thought Sasuke, as he could see by the way Tifa walked she was a strong fighter. Well, he should have been more specific. In any case, the answer would have been no, since he does have the requirements to be trained by me, or you for that matter, said Cloud looking at Tifa, who nodded in agreement, and saw Sasuke was not pleased by her friend's response. It was not a request. It was a command. "I command you to train me so I can be Naruto's superior and so I can use that power to kill my brother," said Sasuke, as he Cloud raised his eyebrow at the arrogance the boy had, and Tifa looked like she wanted to sock the Uchiha into next week. "Superior? Kid, don't take this the wrong way, but Naruto is far, and I mean far beyond you in terms of power. Even if it was possible to train you in what I know, I'm afraid it would take you years, maybe even decades to reach his level of power, and even more for the control needed to wield it," said Cloud, as he saw Sasuke looking beyond angry, and wished to do something quite rash. "Control? I don't need to control power. I just need power. I want power. Can't you even understand such a simple thing, you brainless blonde loser?" said Sasuke, as he didn't have time to deal with this man's hesitation in teaching him, and needed to get stronger to kill Itachi. "Kid, you are about a fingertip away from pissing me off to the point where this hospital becomes your new home, and if you really make me angry I'll see to it that this becomes a permanent residence for you. So shut your hole before you write a check your ass can't cash, which I will collect by putting my fist right down your throat, down, through your stomach, and breaking your goddamn spine," said Cloud, as he was feeling the need to hurt someone, and right now one Uchiha Sasuke was quickly becoming the one person at the top of his list to beat the brains out of for a few good hours. "Go for it. The councils here will punish you for hurting me since I am the last of my clan in the leaf," said Sasuke, as he smirked arrogantly at Cloud, and thought the man would back down when he said that. "Arrogant fool, thy name is Uchiha Sasuke. Last of your clan, you say? Well then, it seems that your clan is about to become extinct because I'm about to crush those two grapes, and your one-eyed pinky finger that's in between your legs," said Cloud, as he moved to back up his threat, and would have done it had it not been for Tifa stepping in to stop it. Whoa. Whoa. Hold on, Cloud. As much as I would like to see this arrogant kid get taken to the woodshed and beaten within an inch of his life, I don't think that would be work well with us right now. The people here already don't like you for fighting their hero in a duel to the death, which I remind you the winner of that duel was not you, and the said winner spared your life. Plus, we told Tsunade that we would join the village's ranks, and it won't be possible if you kill this dumb skinny 90-pound weakling, said Tifa, as she saw Sasuke snarl at her, and looked ready to strike out in retaliation. For his part, Cloud kept the itching desire to tear the Uchiha a new asshole was put on hold, and decided to listen to Tifa on this since his track record for not listening to her had not been so great. Okay, but if he keeps being a pain in the ass, I'm not going to be held accountable for tearing him in half like a phone book, and skipping town afterwards, said Cloud, as he walked past Sasuke with Tifa beside him, and ignored the infuriated boy they left behind. Namikaze estate at the moment, this is not necessary. I do not need rest, said Naruto, as he found himself sitting on the couch with Kin, Tuya, Haku, and Yugito all sitting around him. You've been pushing yourself too hard, Naruto-kun. After your fight with Cloud, we saw how tired you were, and know the leaf had put a lot of pressure on you. If you don't get any time to relax, you may overwork yourself quite literally to death, and there is also the matter of enjoying certain things around you, said Haku, as she knew that Naruto's was trained to work tirelessly, but even he needed a break, and by Kamishi along with the others were going to make sure he got one. Haku-chan is right. The Leaf Village won't collapse with you not being at the forefront of every single event that happens. You need to relax with those you care about, said Yugito, as she wrapped herself further around him, and purred at the feeling of his body pressed against hers. Naruto considered that, as he realized that even with his mother now in his life, the fact remained that they didn't do much together aside from sparring, and part of him felt like he was wasting this opportunity. If there was one thing Naruto did not do was waste opportunities, and even more so with this one to be with spending more quality time with his mother. Perhaps I do need to take a small vacation. What do you think? Said Naruto, as he saw them nodding their heads furiously at him, and began talking about all he could do with them during his vacation. Perhaps this is what that Nara boy Shikamaru said when he muttered how women could be troublesome as he put it, said QB, as he saw his vessel let out a sigh while petting Kin on the head since the girl's head was on his head. Maybe, but then again I doubt this was what he had in mind, thought Naruto, as he wondered just how much of this vacation would be under his control, and if he could even get it under control knowing that the girls would want to pull him in a couple hundred different directions. Hokage's office, you think I should do what again? Said Tsunade, as she saw Cloud look at her with a calm look, and Tifa was surprisingly in agreement with him. After Cloud entered her office, Tsunade talked about the man's future with the Leaf, and to possibly strengthen Konoha's forces to combat Akatsuki along with other enemies of the village. Cloud along with Tifa didn't mind joining the Leaf since the place reminded them a bit of what I back in the world of Gaia. However, when Naruto was mentioned, Cloud had felt that with the threat of the Akatsuki organization looming on the horizon, the people of the village had to be told about the QB, or else the organization might do it for her. Hear me out before you decide to punch me through a wall again. I'm not doing this on purpose to hurt Naruto. Last thing I need is to give the kid a reason to put me into the hospital again or in your morgue with Tifa there to identify my remains. I just think, the people should know that the fox they hate is within Naruto, but at the same time, is not the same fox that attacked years before, and is actually helping to protect them now, said Cloud, as he knew that if the people saw it from that perspective, Naruto wouldn't stop being a hero in their eyes, and might even make their view of QB change. I still don't want to do that to Naruto. He may feel threatened by this and I don't want to cause any kind of problem for him with the village, said Tsunade, as she knew that the life Naruto had when taken away from here was far better than what could have been here, and did not wish such a thing on anyone. Look lady, you can try to hide it all you want, but the fact remains, if this organization reveals why they are after to Naruto, then a lot of people are going to be asking questions, and making a lot of accusations about turning Naruto into what he is now. It's better if the people hear about this from you, than from this organization, which from what I have come to understand is made up of S-class missing nin, and having nothing to lose in telling everyone, said Cloud, as he saw Tsunade still wasn't convinced, and looked to Tifa to help give the woman another nudge. From what we understand, you've already told some of the people close to Naruto, and they accept him for who he is. Give it a shot with the village now as a whole, said Tifa, since she honestly believed the village could handle the truth now after so many years. And what if you're wrong? My sensei told me that had things been different, he knows that things would not have been good for Naruto, and the proof is in Danzo's own files we found after finding the boy's mother. Even with the man dead, he still has people on the two councils, who follow his vision of things, and will try to make it a reality even with him gone, said Tsunade, as she knew that her sensei's old teammates were in on Danzo's plans from the start, but the now dead man had kept them out of it just to be safe, and only mentioned them in passing in his notes. Then pray that Naruto doesn't leave because of I was, said Cloud, as he knew this was going to be a coin toss, and had a sinking feeling that Naruto was going to send him back to the hospital again for this. With Naruto a few days later, Naruto was walking with Haku, Yugito, Kin, Tuya, Hana, and Hinata by his side to a training ground with a nice hill view of the village before blankets were laid down for the picnic they were about to enjoy. It had taken a bit of convincing since the girls did try to pull him in different directions at the same until Naruto commanded to stop in a very commanding fashion that impressed his mother, having seen the humorous moment and knew it wasn't easy for a young boy to get his girls back in line. Minato only had half that luck with his own fangirls, and even then it took Kushina's own presence with killing intent to scare those girls away. After commanding the girls to stop using him in their own tug of war, Naruto came up with the idea of doing something all of them could enjoy, and without the need to get in a fight about it. They agreed, while still giving each other death glares, to the idea, with Naruto choosing the activity himself and had read that picnics were something people did together. So here they were, relaxing under the open sun, food out on the extremely large blanket Naruto had bought for such an occasion, and enjoying this moment in time where nothing could bother them. They even got Naruto to laugh at one point, which made them all the girls freeze up, and wish they had a recording device on hand to preserve it. At the same time, they felt their hearts ache knowing that it took so much to get such a thing out of him, and could see Naruto had a long way to go before it could become a common thing for him. After they finished eating, they took a page out of Shikamaru's book, and looked up at the clouds in the sky while all huddled around the spiky blonde's form. Naruto didn't know why it made him sleepy when he did this, but in all truth, it didn't really matter to him since the warm sensation of the girls around his person let his mind wander, and stray out of the realm of time. Naruto, said Hana in a mumbled voice. Yes, Hana-chan? Said Naruto, his voice also a mumble if not a whisper. When you marry Hinata-chan when you're both 16 years old, would it be too much to ask that we be married along with her? Said Hana, as she saw the other blush at her words, and Hinata letting out a mousy squeak at the notion of marrying Naruto. Before I answer, I need to know one thing, do you all feel this way, and wish to be my wives when I become that age? Said Naruto, as he saw them all nod, and mumble out words like yes or fuck yeah. Tuya saying that one, in response. Not only that, but I know for a fact that Anko would love to be with you too, along with Tenten, and that girl from the ramen stand Ayame. Even Shizune has been blushing when you were around and trying not to let Tsunade see it too, said Yugito, as she saw the girls were all wishing for it, and only a select few can. Don't forget me, kitten. The instant I can get out of here without killing you, I intend to have my own time with him, and put that stamina of his to the test, said Nibi, letting out a perverted giggle, and making Yugito blush. We'll see how things turn out in the next few years, said Naruto, as he had no intention of dying, and was going to make damn sure no one around him did too. And with that, Naruto continued to stare into the sky at the clouds, with the girls laying all around him, and once more let his mind wander for the rest of the day. Hokage Tower speaking balcony 2 days later, are you sure you about this, Naruto? That you want me to do this? Said Tsunade, as she saw Naruto nod his head, and turned to face his serious-looking mother currently glaring at the older of the two blondes. You better pray to Kami they see my son like Minato wished Tsunade. I just got him back in my life and I won't have some old politicians you have on the councils try to dictate policy on Naruto because of the fox, said Kushina, as she knew how the people on the councils were old, weak, and wished to solidify themselves with political power along with the money it would bring in. They would have spat on Minato's dying wish if Danzo was any indication. I know, and I'm asking you to trust me, Kushina, if just this one time, said Tsunade, as she saw the red-haired woman look down from the window view she had, and saw the people gathering for a grand announcement. Without any further interruption, Senju Tsunade of Konoha, its very first female Hokage, walked out to the platform, and addressed the crowd, knowing that what she was about to say would no doubt change things for the Leaf. Changes for Naruto. Changes in people's minds about Naruto. Changes in how Naruto could do things for Konoha. The question now in Tsunade's mind was, just how powerful would those changes be? Omake right before Tsunade's speech, time to face the masses, Hokage-sama. You are sober, right? Said Naruto, as he saw Tsunade turn red with anger and embarrassment before glaring at Shizune for telling the boy some of the Tsunade got drunk one night stories. Of course I am. Damn it, Shizune, no more telling him stories about me being drunk, And even more so when they are not true, said Tsunade, as she saw her assistant look a bit sheepish, and looking away to avoid her mentor's gaze. Are not true? So the story about you getting drunk and streaking through a city are in fact false? Said Naruto with a raised eyebrow, as he saw Tsunade looking angry, and Kushina laughing at the woman's facial expression while Shizune starts sneaking out of the room. You swore you would never speak of that to anyone, Shizune, said Tsunade, as she saw the woman stop her attempt at sneaking out, and look back at her mentor in a sheepish manner. Oops, said Shizune before running out of the room and Tsunade chasing after her. Did she really do that, Naruto? Said Kushina, as she looked at her son, and saw the smirk on his face before producing the photos Shizune took to later use to influence the female Hokage's spending when on the road. She felt I should hold on to them for leverage for some reason, and I know a certain Toad Sanin willing to pay anything I ask for them. However, since I dislike perverts, I won't let him see this, and keep it for reference to understanding the female body, said Naruto before sending the photo away and saw his mother smiling a devious smile knowing her pranking nature was starting to get out. Just don't let the girls see it or they'll think you like women that age, said Kushina, as she saw her son's smirk deepen, and raised an eyebrow at her. Who is to say I don't find Tsunade-sama attractive? Who is to say that I cannot reverse her age to closer to mine? Said Naruto, as he saw his mother's jaw drop, and then see her faint at the thought of Tsunade back in her prime once again. The sake would be flowing then. Chapter 14 Indecisions. Tsunade stood before the crowd, all of them waiting for her to speak to them, and address the important news that would forever change the landscape of the village. Now normally when Tsunade spoke, whether it was to a large group of people, or just a small handful, the situation didn't make her feel nervous. However, this was different since this was news affected someone close to her, and to several key figures in Konoha. Naruto had done so much for her, the Leaf, the now retired Sandaime, and Konoha's other outside yet very influential parties. She could only silently pray to Kami that this announcement didn't blow up in her face. People of the Leaf, roughly 12 years ago, as you are well aware, Konoha was attacked by the great demon Lord Kyubi, who attacked our village, and killed many of our people. The battle ended after the Kyubi was killed by the Yondaime, who gave his life for the village, and everyone in its walls, said Tsunade, who got cheers of approval, and saw many still love the Yondaime for what he did. Behind Tsunade, in another room with a window view, a still worried Kushina watched from where she was inside the Hokage tower, and looked at the village below praising her husband's name, and deep down she feared for the worst. In her heart, the red-haired woman knew that if things were different, Naruto's life would have been hell thanks to these people, and was only saved by a mere chance act by a complete stranger. Not far from the door, Kushina saw her son sitting on the floor deep in meditation, and awaited for the village's reaction without fear. At least, Kushina thought her son didn't have any fear of the village's reaction, as he had already bonded with so many people in the village, and to remove him now could lead to dangerous consequences with his mental state. Part of her wanted to have Inoiki run a psychological profile on Naruto, but the man didn't know about Kyubi, and there was no telling how the man would feel in regards to the boy after this was over. Even more, was Naruto told Kushina in private that he had developed a way to create mental defenses within his mind to keep intruders with such powers out of his mind, and crush any who dared to enter without his permission. Speaking of which, thought Kushina, as she saw Tsunade raise her hand for silence, and Kushina could see the female Hokage was just as scared as she was. However, the part about the Yondaime killing the Kyubi is not true, and the Kyubi is in fact alive, said Tsunade, but the instant she said that caused the people to whisper, and panic a little. Great Tsunade. Now the people are starting to fear for their lives, thought Kushina with a glare to the older woman. But, the fox is no longer a threat, as the Yondaime was able to seal the fox away into the body of a child, who has secretly protected the Leaf by being the fox's prison, and is the warden for the Kyubi, said Tsunade, as she saw some people nodding in understanding, but saw some people had angry looks on their faces, and knew not everyone was pleased that the fox was alive in a walking cell made of flesh. Why wasn't the baby killed after the sealing? Yelled out someone amongst the crowd, and Tsunade felt a spike of killer intent from Kushina at those words. Because the Yondaime wanted the boy to be seen as a hero of the Leaf, but at the time, the Sandaime didn't think the people would due to the losses we suffered, and lied to keep the boy from being persecuted, said Tsunade, as she saw her chance to steer this in a different way that could take away their fears, and anger at the fox. Who is the boy? Tell us, yelled someone else, as more people wanted to know, and one more. Tsunade felt nervous in answering. Here comes the moment of truth for Naruto-kun, thought everyone close to Naruto, as they kept their fingers crossed, and prayed to Kami things would be alright. The vessel of Kyubi is Uzumaki Naruto, said Tsunade, as she let those words sink in, and instantly the crowd shouted out in various forms. The roars of the crowd were practically deafening. "I knew it. There was always something off about that boy," said one person. "No wonder he defended that demon woman he brought here from Kumo. He's just like her, only worse," said a villager, with more shouts going out, with most being negative with those being positive slowly drowning in it. "Imprison him," shouted out another person. "No. Kill him so we're freed of the QB forever," yelled out a retired shinobi, who left the job after the QB, and nightmares it still gave him. Naruto/Naruto-kun thought everyone close to Naruto, as they knew this wasn't good, and Kushina saw Naruto still mediating while hearing all of this. But even his stone-cold poker face couldn't stop Kushina's eyes from seeing that a part of Naruto was hurt that people would seek his death for something he had no part in. The irony of it all. Silence. No wonder the Sandaime lied to you all. The Yondaime would be ashamed of you. His dying wish was for that boy to be seen as a hero, and the instant that you learn of the QB sealed inside of him, you instantly asked me to end his life, said Tsunade, as she once held reserved thoughts of Naruto being made into what he was now. But after hearing the majority of the people call for Naruto's blood, the opportunity to take Naruto away from the leaf was something Tsunade would have taken in a heartbeat if presented with it by Kami, and let the boy become what he now was. But the boy holds the QB inside of him, said someone, with others asking how the female Hokage could simply ignore their wishes over the QB vessel. So? It doesn't make him QB. Why should a boy be punished for the fox he holds? What if one of your children had been chosen to have the QB sealed inside of them? Would you be so bloodthirsty then? Naruto has done nothing to deserve your call for his blood, and has defended this village because it holds a special place in his heart. Of course the correct term now should be held, since after hearing what you said, has put his loyalty to us in question, and he may leave the village because you all decided to be Bakas, said Tsunade, as she saw them looking nervous, but the younger generation understood what their Hokage was talking about, and their appreciation for Naruto's sword. Even if some of the old generation's appreciation still descended. Is there anything that keeps him in check? Like a seal, or the rumored power that your grandfather had to suppress demons? Said another retired shinobi, who had heard such rumors, and wanted to know if they are true. The only seal that keeps the QB in check is the one on Naruto, and the boy does not need anything you mentioned to stop his actions from getting out of hand, because he has complete control. Something for you all to consider should you decide to come after him with your pitchforks and torches to try teaching him a lesson, said Tsunade, as she saw some of them look a bit nervous, since a few of them had considered forming a mob, and coming after the boy when his guard was down. Despite what he held, they thought the boy was still weak enough to take down because of his age, and could be killed if they struck quickly enough. But what if he turns on us? Said another person among the idiot masses. He won't unless you decide to just backstab him for being different. He knows how you glared at the vessel of the Nibi, and I am not going to punish him should he feel the need to rip you all few new assholes if any decide to hurt him or those close to him. Or did the battle with the other blonde swordsmen not prove that? Said Tsunade, as she saw them go pale with fear, and realized Naruto could wipe them out with a flick of his wrist. Only in the face of facing Naruto's wrath do they reconsider going against him. Bakas, thought Kushina, as she looked from the crowd of people to her son, and walked over to him before kneeling down in front of him. When Naruto opened his eyes met Kushina's, and it was clear to the woman that despite him being emotionless, the boy wanted to cry. Back in Midgar, Naruto never cared that the people there thought he was different, and it didn't matter because of the simple fact that it was part of the job description of being a soldier to not care. You were among others, who were different, odd, and were considered something else that should be left alone. The people outside of Soldier never interacted with you, unless you let them in, and that never happened as long as Naruto had been in Midgar. But this wasn't Midgar. This was Konoha, and in the Leaf Village such things didn't matter. Or at least, it didn't matter as long as you didn't have a demon inside of you that nearly killed your home that you didn't know you had, and were from until recently. But the reaction of the people had hurt Naruto unexpectedly, with a wound deeper than any blade, as he had come to like the village in the short time of an equally few short years he had been in it, and come to see how the people acting this way had hurt him deeply. Mother, may I ask you something? Said Naruto, as he saw Kushina smile at him, and nod her head. Anything, said Kushina. Did you regret ever bringing me into this world? Ever? Even once? Said Naruto, as he saw his mother look at him in shock, and then slapped him right across the face before she wrapped her son in a hug. Namikaze Uzumaki Naruto, I want you to listen to me right now, and take these words to heart, because I'm only going to tell you this once. I will never ever in my life, so long as I live, regret bringing you into this world, and I have never ever been more proud to call you my son. Understand? said Kushina, as she held him tightly, and let a tear fall from her face while keeping this one moment to themselves to be seen by no one else. Thank you, mother, said Naruto, as his voice was just a whisper, but it echoed in the room, and the weight behind it was greater than the Hokage monument. You're welcome, son. Never forget, your mother loves you, and always will no matter what you become in this world, said Kushina, as she kissed his forehead, and rose with him to their feet. What should we do about the people of the leaf? Said Naruto in a soft voice that the woman before him knew this wasn't the cold emotionless warrior that struck fear in the hearts of his enemies, but a child seeking advice from the woman, who brought him into this world, and was seeking her counsel with absolute trust in whatever she asked him to do. Don't worry about them. If they can't see that you are you and the fox is the fox, then I say they aren't worth saving, said Kushina, as she told Minato that just because the Leaf Village was precious to him, did not mean everyone in it should be too, and she was right when you consider assholes like Danzo. Thank you, mother.
I love you too, said Naruto, as he saw his mother's eyes widen in shock at him saying that, and then hugged him again.
Kushina waited roughly 12 years to hear Naruto say those words, and it was worth every single second waiting for it. Hokage Tower meeting room several days later, Tsunade sighed at the way the two councils had been pounding their fists, demanding answers, and wanting to know the details behind Naruto being the Kyuubi's prison. The instant the announcement ended, the popularity for Naruto had shifted significantly in ways that no one thought was possible, and that included the governing body of the Leaf. The people of Konoha, mostly the civilians anyway, were now indifferent to the boy, as they knew that Naruto had protected them from the invasion, but their fear that the blonde had Kyuubi inside of him to do what he did was not something they were comfortable with, and they couldn't really see him as a hero anymore. The younger generation were more positive in their belief that Naruto wasn't a monster and that the blonde had done too much for the Leaf to be the fox demon. The only problem now, however, were the two old bats she inherited from the Sandaime on the Shinobi Council, and the civilian council filled with people that knew little about the life of a shinobi, just like the world's smallest termite. The clan heads among this governing body of Konoha were the only support the Hokage had for Naruto at the moment, since the boy had worked miracles with their kids. There was even a rumor that Tsume was considering an arranged marriage between Naruto and her daughter Hana after saving the Inuzuka woman from a sick stalker, though it was all unconfirmed at this point. This is an outrageous act against the governing body of Konoha. This so-called boy is clearly a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. It's clear the Yondaime seal did not work like he desired, and the Kyuubi has potent influence on the boy, said a fat and one of the more traditional civilian councilmen, clearly too arrogant for his own good. I agree. There has also been sightings of the last Uchiha picking fights with the boy and that other blonde that he fought in the stadium. If something isn't done, then Sasuke will believe he is no longer a valuable asset to the Leaf, and abandon Konoha, said Homura, getting nods of approval from the others. Troublesome. Uchiha Sasuke hasn't shown promise even before Naruto showed up or after everyone in Konoha spoiled the kid rotten, said Shikaku lazily, as he was told by his wife to support Naruto no matter what, and if he didn't, well, he would be in a lot of pain when he got back home, alone, when they were in bed, with a sound suppressing jutsu on to keep the sound of his screams from being heard. And there was a good chance Yoshino would be using whips this time to go with the chain restraints without the safety word. I agree with the lazy Nara. Uchiha Sasuke is a full-fledged run of his pack. He has no morals, cares nothing for his teammates, or what it means to be loyal to others for that matter. Naruto is the exact opposite of the Uchiha, and you can see he has real leadership material. A true alpha. Are you going to sit here and tell us you think the Uchiha runt should gain more favor than an alpha like Naruto? Said Tsume, as she knew the only reason these guys were against the blonde was because he killed Danzo, and for good reason, since Kushina was taken away from her baby. In fact, Kushina wasn't included in this meeting was due to the well-known fact that the red-haired woman would go on a psycho-killing spree to keep her son from harm, and not even Tsunade would have the power to stop that. He's only that way because of the Kyuubi. Take that away and the blonde is nothing, said the Haruno councilman, as he was not about to have this blonde ruin things for the Uchiha and his daughter when she finally seduced the boy. What about the Uchiha and his Sharingan? You all praise him because of his bloodline, but without that Sadilla you'd sooner look at some other person to praise, and not care about the boy. Even without Kyuubi, Naruto would still be a force to be reckoned with, and I have no doubt of that after being allowed inside his mind, said Inoiki, as he had been given permission to do so by Tsunade, and more importantly Naruto, since Spiky Blonde had warned him that he had quite a few mental defenses made just in case this happened. To say it was interesting experience was an understatement, as Inoiki had written it all down in his report to Tsunade, and had given to the clan elders about Kyuubi's current situation within its vessel. Really? And what have you discovered about the blonde? Anything in terms of powerful techniques we can teach the Uchiha to make him happy? Said Koharu, as saw Inoiki shake his head no, and even if there was he wouldn't tell the old bat since any such skills would bleed the boy dry to use one skill among many the blonde had. No. The reason being is that the boy's chakra pipeline from what I saw, is practically for the lack of a better word, non-existent, which would help explain why the Byakugan itself is not effective in seeing the boy's chakra pathways, and its energy shines so bright. Sorry Hiashi, but it is true, which is surprising since the boy's chakra coils not being there allows his entire body to conduct the energy easier than letting it run through a network. It's like each of Naruto's limbs is one big container of energy while we have multiple tiny pipes that travel through our body and allow us to make jutsus. Upon further examination of the boy from the inside, I could also determine that the seal has been untouched since it was first put on by the Yondaime, and the Kyuubi himself remembers nothing of what happened 12 years ago, said Inoiki since he had talked to the fox in a respectful manner and saw none of the bloodlust in the demon's eyes that it had years ago. Not surprising. The Kyuubi is a demon, but more importantly a mindless animal, and one should not expect a mindless animal to remember anything beyond its own instincts, said a fat merchant councilman, who had made quite the killing, financially mind you, during the third shinobi, and secretly with Danzo before the man's death. Not from what I saw. Kyuubi seemed calm. In control of itself. Almost as if the Kyuubi that attacked us 12 years ago was something else entirely. We talked quite a bit and I can state without question that the fox is indeed intelligent just like its warden, said Inoiki since the boy had made a personal appearance within his mind before him to prove that the two were not one, yet acted like one all the same, and it was clear neither had any real problems working together. If the demon is indeed intelligent like you claim, it could be deceiving you Inoiki, and once more as further proof the boy cannot be trusted. I say Jiraiya seals away the boy's abilities and Inoiki wipes his memory clean of everything before being thrown away in our maximum security prison, said Homura, as he saw the civilian council agree while the clan heads protested, and only through Tsunade slamming her fist into the table did it silence everyone. I'm sick and tired of this meeting since the moment it started, as I refuse to put the one person in Konoha that has kept it alive in the few short years since he's been here on the chopping block, and I'm not about to dishonor the dying wish of a previous Hokage. Even more so when you consider how much influence we lose if anything happens to Naruto because you Bakas let your arrogance and fear dictate your decisions. Wave Country has named their bridge after him, Suna is now our ally against Akatsuki, Kumo has lost a significant amount of strength to oppose us, Orochimaru is dead, and Hyuga Hizashi's body has been returned to the leaf. The Fire Daimyo has been getting clients from all over Fire Country, as well as clients from other countries without shinobi villages to have Naruto be hired for a job, and are willing to pay good money for his services. Do you really want to throw Naruto away now of all times just because of what he holds? Said Tsunade, as she saw the civilian council scoff with several saying the Uchiha could have done those things too, and the shinobi council didn't even look her in the eyes. What about that other spiky blonde boy and that girl he was with? Are they prepared to swear loyalty to us? Said Koharu, as she saw Tsunade scowl at her, and not for the first time did the slug princess want to smack the old fart all the way to the 9th level of hell. Cloud Strife and Tifa Lockhart are willing to become part of my shinobi forces since they have nowhere to go. Judging from what I saw from Cloud fighting Naruto, he is clearly Jounin level, and Tifa will be tested later today though I'm fairly certain she is Jounin level too, said Tsunade, as she had asked Tifa about her abilities, and the woman had stated it was mostly taijutsu. She only prayed that Tifa didn't kill Mitogai for his youthfulness before the test even started. Then we demand they teach the Uchiha, said Homura, as he saw the Hokage glaring, and telling him to shut up. They will teach who they want to teach. Besides, Sasuke already has Kakashi teaching him, and doesn't need anyone else inflating his ego, said Tsunade, as she was going to get a report from that man about what he's been teaching Team 7, and tell him to stomp a mud hole of humility into the Uchiha brat's arrogant attitude. Hokage-sama, if I may ask, where is Naruto right now? Said Aburame Shibi, as he was expecting Naruto over at his clan home soon to inspect a new breed of tracking insects, and the blonde had offered to use his mana to help in the research. He needed some time away from Konoha so I sent him not far outside of the village to be alone and clear his mind, said Tsunade, as she saw the Aburame clan head nod in understanding, and knew Naruto needed time away from everyone. What? For all we know, the demon inside of him could be whispering into his mind to kill us all, and you Hokage-sama are going to be the one to blame for it, said Homura, as he was not about to have the killer of his fallen ally Danzo get away from slaying the old war hawk. Silence. This meeting is now over. We will not discuss Naruto's demon or anything else about the boy. If anyone here tries to do anything stupid, which I know some of you will, there will be hell to pay, and I will see to it you pay dearly. Whether it's at my hands, or Naruto's own, said Tsunade, as she saw the clan heads shiver in fear of that since they knew that Naruto took anything directed at him personally when it came to family, and the rumors behind what was left of Danzo still gave a few of them nightmares. When everyone left, the Hokage slumped in her seat, and sighed heavily while Shizune walked in looking a bit down at seeing her teacher like this. Even more was the reality of what Tsunade feared would have happened if Naruto had stayed in Konoha and how the older generation were clinging to the old ways of arrogance her grandfather had tried to keep from happening when the village was founded. Judging from the way you're sitting, they want to lock Naruto up because of QB, said Shizune, as she didn't need to be a mind reader, or a Yamanaka to read into what had just happened. All but the clan heads. Fortunately, Naruto is too popular with the people outside of the village for them to do anything about it, and I know a large portion of our shinobi forces still hold him in high regard. Hell, I would too if Naruto summoned a massive dragon that turned my enemies into nothingness, and I could have certainly needed that when running away from paying my debts, said Tsunade with Shizune smirking at her. It gets better. Kumo is interested in an alliance now with the Leaf to help combat the Akatsuki since the only one they have left in terms of a demon vessel is the Raikage's little brother, said Shizune, as she handed him the document, and Tsunade looked at it with wide eyes before laughing herself nearly to tears. Oh, this is priceless. It's a shame you didn't come in earlier, as I could have used this to pierce those bastards' egos, and made them feel like shit, said Tsunade, as she read over the document, and saw the Raikage didn't wish to lose his only sibling to S-class missing Nin. There's more. There is a new Mizukage running Mist now and she is very interested in seeing Naruto. She wants to hire him to help train a new batch of swordsmen in order to revive the 7 swordsmen of the mist with a new generation that will make her village proud, said Shizune, as the look on Tsunade's face was one for the record books, and nearly laughed at the sight of it. And what is the new 5th and female Mizukage offering in exchange for his services? Said Tsunade, as she felt her eyebrow twitching, and knew she wasn't going to like it. Well, she really didn't specify, but if I were to guess, a place within Mist's walls, and as her husband if the way the lipstick on this letter is any indication, said Shizune, as she had felt a little peeved that this woman was trying to get an arranged marriage out of the whole deal for when Naruto was older, and she'd be lying to herself if she thought she wasn't jealous. Rumors were, the new Mizukage was quite the looker, and was a redhead too. And if Naruto was anything like his father when it came to redheads, then the boy may find a sense of attractiveness to the woman, and agree to the terms the female Mizukage made. Great. Another woman surrenders to the Gaki and she hasn't even met him yet, said the blonde female Hokage, as she looks at the letter requesting the blonde help her strengthen Mist, and the offer in exchange was indeed vague yet clear that it was something along the lines of a relationship with Naruto. At least he wasn't a pervert like Jiraiya, who would no doubt be frothing at the mouth, and be halfway to Mist right now. Speaking of the Toad Sanin, where the hell was he, and why didn't she get the feeling of elation in the super pervert not being by her side? With Jiraiya at the moment, come on Gaki. I was joking when I said I was going to peep on the hot springs. Cut me some slack here damn it, said Jiraiya, as he was strung up, wearing only his heart-shaped boxers in the middle of the forest, and the blonde behind him was in possession of a large beehive currently being held in a stasis field to prevent them from retaliating. Whether you lie or not about such things to me is irrelevant, but you need to understand that my mother is currently at the hot springs right now, and I have no intention of seeing you violate her modesty. As such, you must be properly punished, said Naruto with his voice now being a deadly whisper and quickly put the hive in the man's boxers from behind in the rear with the stasis field on the hive dispelling when his hand left it before giving the hive a kick that crushed it inside. And as expected the bees were pissed. Ah. Naruto stop. Get me down. Ah. Shit. Ow. Ow. Help me, said Jiraiya, but the boy was gone to leave Jiraiya to be stung without mercy by angry bees, and to a mental note to never peep in the hot springs when Kushina was there. Ever. With Naruto sometime later, if there was one thing the blonde demon vessel loved to do while in Konoha, was the pleasant serenity one obtained when walking through the forest, and found that the metal machine life of Midgar was not something he could truly enjoy if he ever went back. Here in the elemental countries, life was plentiful, rich, clean, and clear of the taint that Naruto had felt back in Gaia due to Shinra's Mako factories. Upon walking, the blonde came upon a trail that led to a large home one would expect to see in terms of a clan, and sensed someone was inside along with others outside too. As he walked towards the home, Naruto stopped when several Anbu came out from their hiding spots, and approached him. Naruto-sama, what brings you here to one of the Kurama clan houses? Said the Anbu captain, as he was not expecting the blonde here, and the current Hokage had not given anyone permission to be here. After Hokage-sama made the announcement yesterday regarding my demon, she felt I should get away from the leaf to let people digest this information, but still be near her boundaries should anything happen to Konoha, and while walking through the woods I saw the trail that led me here. I sense someone is in that house, but it is only one person? I was under the impression the Kurama clan still had plenty of members, correct? Said Naruto, as he saw the Anbu captain nod, and motioned for his men to stand down. Correct, Naruto-sama. The person inside is Kurama Yakumo, the clan heiress of the clan itself, but she had been here in seclusion for some time after an incident occurred when she was a child, and has to be kept under watch should she try to escape, said the Anbu captain, as he saw Naruto nod, and close his eyes in deep thought before those strange glow eyes of power looked back. I understand, Anbu captain. From what I read, her clan specializes in genjutsu, and can make them become so powerful that they can affect you in real life. In fact, it has even been rumored that not even the Sharingan and the Byakugan cannot break some of them. Would you mind if I greeted her? Said Naruto, as he saw the Anbu captain look back at the house, and in thought before nodding. Yes, you can. Just be careful though. Her powers come out from painting and some of them possess powerful genjutsus. They may be too powerful even for you, Naruto-sama, said the Anbu captain, as he knew the Hokage would have his ass if anything happened to the blonde if sent and they're unprepared for what was there, and the man was not about to let that happen. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you, said Naruto, as he walked into the house without any hesitation, and closed the door behind him silently. Walking through the dark, silent, and a bit dusty home that looked almost abandoned, the blonde hero followed the mana signature Yakumo gave off. As he did, the man saw this place was indeed abandoned for the most part, with only certain areas looking to be used by the girl since those areas had little to no dust, and wondered where the other members of the Kurama clan were. Knocking a few times on the girl's door, Naruto opened it to see a pale-skinned, brown-haired girl painting in the lighthouse, but with very little light from what he could see, and the paintings the girl had were not that of an optimistic youth. Many of the paintings that weren't covered had pictures of Yuhi Kurenai being killed in some fashion, and there were even some with Konoha burning down to the ground. I sensed something off about her. Be cautious, said Kyubi, having sensed something was indeed wrong with the child. You're very good at painting, Yakumo-san, said Naruto, as he saw the girl stop painting for a moment before continuing, and almost seemed to ignore him. Thank you. The lighting in the room helps, said Yakumo, as she kept on painting, and acted like all was well with her world. It wasn't. You mean the lack lighting, correct? Said Naruto, as he saw her pause yet again, and sensed a flux of mana around her. My eyes are sensitive to light outside of this house and I need to stay here in order to protect myself, said Yakumo before once again going back to painting. You're lying. And I know that you are not, Yakumo, said Naruto, as he saw the girl's hand stop mid-brush, and then turn her head to face him now with eerie glowing yellow eyes. How perceptive of you. I must admit you are not like the others. I sense no fear within that delicious body of yours, but I know we can change that, and will since we are all alone, said the demonic form of Yakumo, as she slowly rose from her seat, and leapt out at Naruto before the blonde stopped her with a hand to her throat. You don't frighten me, succubus. I know of your kind and I will not tolerate your abuse of this girl while possessing her body in an unnatural way. Bind, said Naruto, as used the spell to immobilize her, and then dropped the girl onto the floor. Oh my, I didn't know you were that kind of guy, and wanted to take me like this. You are such a naughty blonde boy, said the succubus-possessed girl, as she licked her lips suggestively, and tried to maneuver the upper part of her clothing off to reveal her breasts to him. Naruto, in order to take care of this creature, you must connect with her mind, and have me deal with the succubus spirit in her, said Kyubi, as it knew what to do, and help the girl regain control of her body again. Let's do it, thought Naruto, as he knelt down, and put his index along with his middle finger on Yakumo's head to begin the process. Yakumo's mindscape. Yakumo was scared when she found herself in the dark corners of her mind and didn't know how she even got there. It wasn't the first time it happened, but she knew that after it did that it would not be the last, and this right now was proof of it. From the beginning, Yakumo knew that she was different from the rest of her clan, and after her parents died had become a bit of a black sheep, if you will, to branch family of her clan. She had tried to fight what was possessing her, but Yakumo didn't have the strength like the rest of her family did, and succumbed to the demon inside of her body. It was a bit of a secret in her clan, only a very few knew about the source behind their genjutsu ability, and even the Hokage was not told the entire reason. As it turned out, the genjutsu ability of the Kurama clan was passed on through their bloodline that directly descended the main family from a succubus named Ito, who mated with 2 men after they came to her when they both learned they were cursed with sterility, and seeking a means of children. So Ito granted their request, which wasn't easy since succubus demons were not easy to satisfy, and she told them that their wish could only be granted if they could each satisfy her. The oldest of the 2 Kurama did indeed succeed since he had more experience, but the younger did not, though he did try everything in his power, and for that Ito granted the younger Kurama her blessing too. What the 2 brothers didn't know was that their blessing would become a curse too, as their children's children that were sired later on in life had on occasion developed powers that overwhelmed them, and nearly destroyed their clan. However, because it was considered a clan affair, the Kurama clan heads as time flew by in Konoha, didn't tell any of the Hokages about this, and felt it would make them feel unwelcome. Why does this keep happening to me? All I've ever wanted was to be a great genjutsu master like Yuhi Kurenai, said Yakumo, as she looked around, and then saw the figure that was Naruto entering her mind before looking around for the other part of her. You are the real Yakumo. What do you remember since this creature started taking over your body? Said Naruto, as he needed to know just how strong this creature's influence was on the poor girl, and just how far he needed to go to kill the creature. I still remember what has happened since the demon started taking over, but when it's in full control, I blacked out for a long periods of time, and when I come out of it, I do not know what it does, said Yakumo, as she saw Naruto nod, and put a hand on her shoulder. Leave the succubus to me, said Naruto, as he gave a tiny smile, and began walking to the nearest metal door of Yakumo's mind only to be greeted with another dark empty room, though the potency of demonic influence was clearly here. Then the door behind him slammed shut. Oh my dear sweet blonde boy toy. You don't have to go too far to find little old me. I'm right here, said the succubus Yakumo, as she came at him through the darkness before she managed to tackle him to the ground to reveal the skimpy dark crimson one-piece bikini she wore with an impressive bust barely being held back, dark crimson colored hair, matching dragon-like wings, and her yellow eyes filled with lust. You are not welcome within the girl. You are destroying the very body you inhabit, said Naruto, as he ignored the succubus Yakumo running her hands through his upper body, and her kissing along his jawline. It's not entirely my fault if you must know. It is all the Sandaime and Yuhi Kurenai's fault. They put that seal on her trying to suppress her powers when all it did was give me more freedom and only weakening her further. The old man was never the best when it came to seals, said the succubus Yakumo, as she began to move her hands down to Naruto's pants, but was stopped when the blonde grabbed her, and flipped their bodies so he was the one on top. And if this seal were destroyed? Said Naruto, as he now had the girl pinned, and saw her grinning at him. She would be mentally stronger, but even if that did happen, Yakumo's mind is still too weak to continue on without me, and she would die. That would mean I die, which I have no intention of doing anytime soon, and that seal is the only thing that keeps us both alive. By removing it, you kill us both, and I don't think you have the guts to do that. Especially when the 2 of us could spend some quality time doing something else with the current position we're in, said the succubus Yakumo, as she didn't mind being dominated by Naruto, and would even let him if it meant intimate with his body. He was power personified, and any succubus worth her well-developed breasts would be on him in a second like Fat Man was on pizza. What if I destroy the seal and the 2 of you merge together? Would that be more to your liking? Said Naruto, as he knew that breaking the seal on Yakumo would give the girl more sanity, but at the cost of her health, and the blonde didn't want to take a life like hers needlessly. He was a warrior of honor. I suppose we could do that, though I really don't like the idea of sharing this body with that weak girl. She's so fragile it cramps my own sexy style, said the succubus Yakumo, as she acted quickly, and was now the one on top of Naruto with a grin on her face. She balances you out. I think if the 2 of you merged together, it would unlock a whole new world, and more considering that any other alternative might result in your death, said Naruto, as he heard succubus Yakumo chuckle when she leaned down to his ear, and nipped it with her fang mouth. How true. It would be nice to be able to use this body properly, and the seal on her is also hampering her physical changes too into being a succubus. Her body isn't so frail like everyone believes, but rather was, or rather still is in a larval succubus form. The seal on her keeps the body from changing it fully to that of a succubus's body and not allowing Yakumo to reach her true potential. It's been on her for so long that to remove it now is, like I told you before, quite lethal. Unless, said succubus Yakumo, as she straddled his waist, and raised her upper body to look at him. Unless what? Said Naruto, seeing the girl frown in thought. Well, the seal could be altered to allow such a transformation process to happen and allow my other half to properly blend with me like you suggested, said the succubus Yakumo, as she tapped her chin with a sharp-nailed finger, and looked thoughtful of the idea even though she was no seal master. I can alter it. Jiraiya has been teaching me sealing and I have looked into my father's own sealing arts at the Namikaze estates. I need to see the seal so I can alter it to do what needs to be done, said Naruto, as he saw the girl grin at him wickedly, lowered her upper body close to him again, and began kissing him once more. Both smart and powerful. You are indeed a man after my own heart, said Succubus Yakumo, as she began to move her hips along his, and felt just what he was packing behind his pants that made the girl grin excitedly. Do we have a deal? Said Naruto, knowing now was the time to fix Yakumo's seal before things went badly for her. Of course. Though after you do, I want to ask a favor of you, and I won't tell you until the seal is fixed, said Succubus Yakumo in a teasing manner before doing a little more grinding against his person before slowly getting off of him, though it took quite a bit of willpower to do so. Slowly, Naruto got up as well before the Succubus Yakumo showed him where the seal was with a sway to her hip while she walked, and looked back at him with a grin, and a wink of the eyes while having an aura of sexiness about her. Soon enough, she showed him the seal that was on the real Yakumo's body, and Naruto had to admit this seal was not the work of a true master. It wasn't crude, mind you, as it was a complete seal, but the design when compared to say his own that imprisoned the Kyuubi looked like a sealing done by the older generation seal masters long past their prime. What do you think, Kyuubi? Said Naruto, as the beast appeared behind the boy, much to Succubus Yakumo's surprise, and fear of the giant fox being here. It is indeed an outdated seal. With the right modifications it could allow the two of them to merge together, but it will be a bit tricky, and you will need Jiraiya's own seal expertise to double check your work, said Kyuubi, as it examined the seal before him with the same kind of analytical mind Naruto had, and saw what the blonde had to do. Let's get to work then, said Naruto, as he approached the seal, cracked his hands before covering them in mana to connect with the seal, and making changes to the design, with Kyuubi watching his movements with a pair of critical crimson eyes just in case the boy had possibly missed something. Though that was highly unlikely, but it was better to be safe than sorry with the seal not being able to do its new job, and kill the girl for a simple mistake. It's done. Touch no more, said Kyuubi, seeing the boy's job was done. We need to kickstart the seal, said Naruto, as he saw the Kyuubi nod, and press a large clawed hand on it before channeling its own energy into it. Since succubus are demons, for this seal to work, demonic energy is needed to start Yakumo's transformation process, and mine is the only one currently around that can do it, said Kyuubi, as it covered the seal in its crimson power, and saw it glowing before it began spreading through Yakumo's body. Now that is done, I wish to ask a favor of you, said Succubus, as she the other part of her appeared, and both began glowing. What favor? Said Naruto, seeing the human-looking Yakumo blush now while Succubus Yakumo was grinning wickedly in front of him. Despite my human counterpart's gentle nature, we have no real love for the rest of our family, and after our merger would like to move in with you at your clan home, said Succubus Yakumo, as she saw her human side blushing further with the merger now starting to increase with images from the succubus reaching the human side. I will take it up with the Hokage before anything becomes official. And with this now done, I take my leave from your mind, said Naruto, as he along with Kyuubi left the girl's mind, and went back to their own. When Naruto opened his eyes in the real world, Yakumo was still on the ground, now asleep, though she now had a crimson glow outlining her body, and she started to change physically before his eyes. Her hair became like the succubus Yakumo he met in the girl's mind, her body was still pale, but a more refined natural looking pale, and it wasn't long before dragon-like wings soon shot out of her back. We have a problem, said Kyuubi, getting Naruto's full attention. I sense them. A group of them heading this way, said Naruto, as he sensed the group of shinobi running at high speed towards the home, and they weren't coming over for tea. In her current condition, they could easily kill Yakumo, and we can't have that. Not after all the work you just did to ensure her survival, said Kyuubi, as it knew that its vessel would not allow anything to hurt the girl now, and had to eliminate the threat. Undoing the bind spell on Yakumo, the blonde warrior walked casually to the window to see shinobi heading directly for the house, and the Anbu were nowhere in sight. Naruto could only assume they were taken out before this attack began, before walking down the stairs and exited the home to see the attack group stop some 15 feet away from him, ready for a fight. You cannot pass, said Naruto, as he saw the group unsheathe swords, and other kinds of weapons fit for a shinobi. Kurama Yakumo must die for the crimes against our clan. To pay for killing my brother and his wife, said the leader of the group. That was not her fault. She was possessed by a succubus demon that used her powers to make them more potent, said Naruto, as he hoped to defuse this situation peacefully, but found it wasn't possible with the looks of determination on the attack group, and they now tensed their bodies for a fight. We know. It is the dirty secret of the Kurama clan that we have hid for years in killing off every single member that becomes a succubus. I had discussed it with my brother for some time, but he refused to do so because he loved Yakumo too much to simply kill her, and asked Yuhi Kurenai to teach her the arts of genjutsu to further protect her from the rest of us. The fire that killed them both was caused by the succubus side within Yakumo because she believed that her father and mother were at the time conspiring against her with me. If word got out about this, the Kurama clan would be cast out of Konoha, ridiculed for our ancestry, and be humiliated beyond imagination. Yakumo has to die, said the masked man, as he saw Naruto shake his head in complete disappointment, and summons Muramasa to his right hand. I can't allow you do that. With both sides of Yakumo merging together as one like they should have been allowed to do in the past, she would have been in control of her power, and brought your clan the glory you desired. Now, all your arrogance will bring you his death, said Naruto, as he saw the group charging, and preparing to attack him with their weapons. In a series of silver-like flashes, Naruto moved from in front of them to behind them, and his blade arched behind himself now before members of the Kurama clan fell to pieces in bloody chunks. Looking at the head of the leader, Naruto walked towards it, and removed the cloth mask that covered it to reveal the man was none other than Kurama Unkai, the branch member of the Kurama clan and Yakumo's uncle. Naruto suspected as much from the clues in the storytelling the man did before his death, but to see the face of the man up close like this only confirmed it for him, and hoped that Yakumo was understanding of his actions in killing her uncle. He knew that Yakumo's new succubus like mine might not care that he did that, but then again the girl no doubt loved her family, even if a group of them came to kill her, and keep the dark secret of the clan from being discovered. Sighing to himself, Naruto dropped the dead piece of flesh onto the ground, and walked back inside to greet the newly changed Kurama Yakumo before taking the girl to meet the Hokage to brief the female fire shadow on this change of events. Hopefully, it wouldn't require the slug woman to drink too heavily, and wish for early retirement.